Okay, I just had a massive epiphany. I'm probably going to do a full podcast on it, but I wanted to throw my thoughts out there right now. It's the overarching plan of the devil in our generation. I was talking to a friend, I was actually listening to him, and he mentioned a book called 1177 by Eric Klein, 1177 BC, and it's the collapse of the Bronze Age of civilization. And I just read the forward so far. I bought it, so I'm going to read the whole book. But even just the forward explained how the massive civilizations of the day had created an interdependent system so that when it collapsed, it completely collapsed and it affected everything. So there's a lot of things that have confused me about our current situation with politics and with religion and all these things, right? Churches being incorporated, the public education system completely brainwashing everybody, the freaking financial system being dependent on the US dollar that has zero value and is continuing to collapse. There's obviously a lot of things I could go into here. The vaccinations and how stupid that is. There's so many things that I could go into. But I've frequently been kind of confused at how randomly it seemed and chaotic it is, right? Like, why are these, politicians and people even on school boards so into brainwashing the kids and creating a dangerous environment when the parents themselves don't want it to happen? Why are all these politicians paid to support horrific things? Like, what's the agenda other than individuals and their own individual criminality, just wanting to make money and do whatever pays them the most? What is the overarching agenda in the eyes of the devil? And it finally clicked because of my buddy talking about 1177 BC and reading the forward to it. It finally clicked what's going on. So I'm just going to explain it very briefly. This era is the Judeo-Christian era, the Christian era, the gospel of Christ being spread as much as it was. Things are pretty bad right now, but when you think about in days past, even as recent as the Roman Catholic Church and back when Rome was still a nation, excommunication from the church was equivalent to execution. You were being killed if you believed something different than the state did. There was not freedom of belief, not at all like we do now, like we have now. So there have been significant steps forward toward a world of peace and harmony and knowledge and truth because of things like the Renaissance, the printing press, the spread of the Bible, like all those things that have contributed to a great society and that give us any amount of structure that we do now. And I think that right after Christ came and spread everything that he did, his gospel, obviously the pagan religions of the day couldn't stop it from spreading, so instead they adopted it and tried to create a pagan version of Christianity, right? So you have, the Roman Catholic Church mixing it with certain pagan beliefs and everything. You have all the Christian holidays on the pagan solstices. You have a lot of things like that. But ultimately, the devil tried to hijack Christianity and steer it off course. But in the end of the era, now there's too many people seeing the truth through so many different lenses, not only because of things like the printing press and the fact that most people are actually educated, which is extremely rare when you consider history, but also things like we have technology now. I can spread these ideas to you like that. And so it's like another boom, like almost bigger than the printing press. And so ultimately the devil and his secrets have not been able to be kept secret. Everything's coming out in the open, whether you're seeing things through a scientific source or you're seeing it through a religious perspective or you're seeing it through a academic perspective, whatever it be, people are coming to the same conclusions as far as what's true and what's not. And that's got to be pretty upsetting to the devil. And it finally clicked. That book, 1177 BC, I'm excited to read it. Even just the forward already opened my mind here. That there are specific things like, some of them are cataclysmic events. Some of them are political events. Some of them are riots, financial things that happen in the economy that can create a significant amount of interdependence between major civilizations so that when something collapses, it all collapses and gives room for a new era to be born because all of the major powers that be are gone and then people are left to themselves until new leaders rise up and new things happen, hence the Renaissance and everything that followed. The devil, having been as much of a failure as he's been in this era, wants the society to collapse. right? So individuals that want to serve the devil, whether they're conscious of it or not, people that align themselves with more pagan traditional beliefs want a new rebirth. They want everything to be destroyed. They want the Judeo-Christian values, the Western values, to go away. And how do you do that? Well, first you brainwash all the kids, right? So that the next generation's dumb. And then second, you get everybody to be dependent on the monetary system that you have, so that as soon as that collapses, nobody has a means wherewith to trade. You also have the situation where the majority of people don't know how to homestead. We are all dependent on the grocery store. We're all dependent on the electrical system, right? Back in the day, people used to individually be able to provide their own food, provide their own fuel of however kind, provide their own shelter, and provide their own education. Most people, especially if you're talking about, the Western world, you had to learn how to colonize yourself. It was all a colonization thing. You had to be able to level a forest and turn it into a village, and everything that entailed. And individuals had to be so educated and trained to do things like that it's just ridiculous when you compare that to where we are now, where most people don't know how to do anything other than play a video game. Like, legitimately, so many people don't know how to change a tire. It's crazy. So the devil and his agenda is to build up a situation to where everybody is dependent on these major sources, and then everybody's hating each other and everybody's confused and everything, to the point that when he pulls the rug, we get rid of the financial system, we get rid of the electrical system, we get rid of our technology. Nobody is left capable or knowledgeable of how to do anything other than just follow what an authoritative seeming source tells you what to do. Nobody's independent. And so it would be easy for certain cults and other organizations that worship the devil to be able to basically plant the seeds at the beginning of a new era into a new pagan era that's closer aligned with the devil's agenda than is our Christian era. So those are all the thoughts that were hitting me. But one of the things that also made sense, that just clicked when I was thinking about it, and this is what I'll end on. The major way we combat this plan of the devil is not by changing society. Because even if you were to teach people the right way through the interdependent system, as soon as the system collapses, people are left to themselves. The best thing you can do to combat this is to learn all of the things yourself, right? Understand the gospel of Jesus Christ. Have a relationship with God that is not dependent on another organization. Know how to homestead, know how to raise chickens, know how to butcher chickens, know how to keep a record and educate yourself and educate your children without being dependent on an academic system. If you know how to do all those things, if you know how to do all the things of the early colonists, then once the societal collapse occurs and all of these interdependent systems go away, the major thing that will combat an era of paganism is individuals that know how to build society, that are as educated as the kings of old, the legends of old, all these people that knew how to take people and teach them how to be good, right? And you have all the major stories. The major way you can combat the overarching agenda of the devil in our generation is by developing yourself personally to become the person that God wants you to be. Someone that knows how to self-govern, self-educate, be independent, take care of the needy, lead those that don't know how to themselves. Do all the things that will make you capable of pushing society toward a good era once all of the major bad things that happen. Because ultimately, the major bad things are going to happen to all the major places, right? All the big cities. Washington, D.C. will go away. London, England will go away. All the other major powers, right? The Vatican, they'll go away. And then it'll just be the rural areas and then the cults that worship Satan around trying to take over that we have to combat. So anyway, that is the thought. And it kind of blew my mind. Hopefully you got something from it.